please rise for the arrival of the official party and the playing of the national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. On behalf of the United States Navy, Navy Sea Systems Command, and the Program Executive Office for Strategic Submarines, we welcome you to the 2023 Pennsylvania Pipeline Program Pittsburgh Region Signing Day. My name is Joe Bartow, and I'm privileged to lead the Talent Pipeline Program and this amazing team, led by the Navy, employers to my left, training providers to my right, facilitators to my front, VIPs, supporters of the program, that today is an amazing day as we celebrate the work that we have completed here over the last year. In the fall of 2021, we had an idea that if we could bring a team together of employers, training providers, and facilitators, we could align them to a single mission, that we could help small and medium-sized employers improve their talent acquisitions and retention systems. And if they did that, they would run a better business. And if they ran a better business, they would provide more capacity to the Navy to meet the Navy ship and submarine ship construction and sustainment demand over the next 30 years. In April of 2022, we held a demand signal roundtable over at Community College of Allegheny County. In June, we came together in the gym in the kickoff meeting over at the North Campus of Community College of Allegheny County. And each of a bigger group raised their hands and says, I want to play. I think this idea has merit. In September, we met over in Cranberry and we had a kickoff meeting. In November, over at the Pittsburgh Technology College, we had a career discovery day and a Project MFG welding event. In January, we met again for the mid-year review to adjust and align ourselves on the mission. And today, I'm very proud and humbled that 21 employers are announcing and celebrating 345 accepted offers in the Pittsburgh region in the 22-23 cohort. What an amazing accomplishment. Now, this is also part of a bigger program in the country. On May 4th, we did this same event in Philadelphia. On June 3rd, we conducted this event in Hampton Roads. And so you joined today in the cohort 22-23, 124 employers had 957 accepted offers as they begin their careers in this incredible manufacturing industry today. We also have some other data we'd like to report that, as we all know, it's not how many you hire, it's how many you keep. We just completed the second year in the Philly cohort, and in the first year, in 21-22, we had 29 employers hired 259 new hires that started. 165 of those young people are either approaching their first year anniversary or has completed their first anniversary on the job. More importantly, 18 of those employers had either 100% retention or only lost one during that period. The other 10 implemented a system, and those employers understood that they were losing people. They did a root cause analysis. They understood they had a problem. They implemented a countermeasure, and today they're back in control as we enter year 3. Because of those two successes, we are now launching programs in Boston and Long Island beginning in 2023-24. So Pittsburgh has been leading the way. So today is all about celebration and what can happen when we bring a team together that refuses to accept the status quo, but come together to do something different, to believe. One relationship, one job, one new hire at a time, and one better company able to provide more capacity to meet the Navy demand to recapitalize the fleet. So representing the Navy today is the Program Executive Officer for Strategic Submarines, Admiral Scott Papana, who had the vision to be able to invest in this program to help employers with a part of their business that traditionally was only the responsibility of the employers. For the first time, probably since World War II, the Navy is partnering with employers to help them solve this problem that is endemic across America. So I couldn't be prouder to be on Admiral Papano's great team as we solve this problem. It's my honor to present to you our keynote speaker, Admiral Scott Papana.
Most everybody's over that way, so I think I'll turn the podium a little bit. So, hey, Joe, thanks for the introduction, and thanks everybody for coming out and spending an evening here with us tonight. Here we have our shipbuilders, industrial-based partners, our educators and trainers, facilitators, but most importantly, this night is to recognize, the men and women are going to walk across the stage here in just a short while as they take their next step on their journey to join the Defense Industrial Base. They are the future of this nation and will define where this nation goes over the next decade, next generation, the next century. It all starts here tonight. We're going to get to more on that later. I'll explain what I'm talking about there as we move out here. But a little bit of backdrop before we get into that, right? So, first of all, it's also great for me to be here in Pittsburgh. Truth be told, I'm a Pennsylvania kid myself. I grew up in Bethlehem on the east side. So, yes, I'm an Eagles fan first, but I still do root for the Steelers, right? So, when in the AFC, I look forward to that Eagles-Steelers Super Bowl someday. But hopefully we can all agree that there's a mutual hatred of the Dallas Cowboys. And I don't know how they got the moniker America's team, because if any team deserves to be America's team, it's the Steelers. They best represent this culture of what makes America great. So with that, I look out at this million-dollar view here. Since I joined the Navy, I spent the first half of my career driving submarines around. Now my job is to build and sustain the strategic ballistic missile submarine force, right? So there's also, not only is it $1 million view, it's probably a $2 million view because I can look right down there and see the USS Requin. I got a World War II era submarine down there. So it just makes my heart beat faster seeing that submarine that served this nation from 1945 to 1968, did great things for us, and now resides here in Pittsburgh. So glad to see we're carrying on tradition here in Pittsburgh. So now let's talk about why we're here tonight, really, kind of the backdrop, right? If you look around the world today, it's not a great place to be in right now, and if you're a student of history, and I am, right, the closest parallel we have in history right now is probably about 1938, if you think about it, right? You had the United States as an island, between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, allied with free peoples of the world. There was a great power in Europe, at war with one of its neighbors, essentially, to liberate German-speaking people. Sounds a lot like Russia today, trying to liberate Russian-speaking people in Ukraine. If I look across the Pacific, right, I see back in 1938, I saw Japan with expansionist ideologies when it become a world power. The same things you see in China today. So not a great place to be, when I have three great powers in competition right now. And, if I think about what happened next in 1939, right, I turn the page and I have that power in Europe invade one of its allied neighbors, allied to us in the West, and that was Poland, right? That started World War II. The difference between now and then is I would ask, are we ready to turn the page, right, for an invasion of Poland? Are we ready to turn the page for a Chinese attack in the Pacific somewhere, right? Because what's different between now and 1938 is our industrial base is not what it was back then. We were principally a manufacturing nation in that time, and ultimately, that's what decided World War II. The power of the United States industrial base that could be brought to bear. That war was never in question, right? But the bottom line is, and if I look here in Pittsburgh for that matter, this was the engine that drove the entire nation. This is the biggest steel producer in the world at the time, right? So it's hard to argue that Pittsburgh wasn't one of the key factors in winning World War II. Yes, soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines won the battles of World War II, but it was the industrial base behind them to provide them the weapons of war to go do that, to enable them to go do that and ensure ultimate victory for the United States of America and our way of life. So a lot of history here in Pittsburgh, right? Again, congratulations on the city for being named World War II Heritage City, right? The only city in Pennsylvania doing that. It's a great honor to do that, but that is a testament to how much this area has done for our industrial base and supporting our needs. Now, again, a Bethlehem kid, I watched the Bethlehem Steel shutter its doors. You've seen a decline of steel producing, but much like Bethlehem, Pittsburgh's the same way. We've managed to rebuild, right, and still continue. And so now part of my job is making sure that, I ultimately want to prevent war with Russia or China. We in the Navy consider China to be our pacing threat. They are on, Russia tends to be on par, but it doesn't have quite as many platforms. China continues to rise, continues to develop technology, right, to try to pace the United States, essentially outpace the United States in what it's going to do, right? So, and if we look for a war, to prevent war in China, the only way to do that is to prepare to win it or end it on terms favorable to us. And so the way we do that is with the Navy. My job is to make sure we play an away game, right, and stop that before it happens. And, if you look at how we are going to stop that, I told you I was a submarine builder. Submarines are key to that in what we do in the Navy, right? Submarines can't lose that war, or correction, submarines can't win that war by themselves, but they can certainly lose the war by themselves, okay? Because China has built up this area denial philosophy to try to prevent our surface forces, our land forces from being able to penetrate into Chinese second island chain and first island chain. And the only way to defeat that is with the U.S. submarine force. Our strategic missile submarines that form the backbone of our strategic deterrence, right, carrying 70% of our nuclear weapons, ensuring remaining undetected to ensure second strike capability, so no bad guy wakes up on any particular day and says, hey, I think I'm going to test the United States today, see if I can take out their nuclear arsenal. Can't be done. Then not only strategic submarines, but also our fast attack submarines, right? I need those submarines to go break down the door, right? Take down Chinese area denial systems so that I can flow the rest of joint forces to theater and ultimately prevail for the United States. That's what's at stake, right? So I would argue that the vast majority of Americans don't necessarily perceive an existential threat to the United States today, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I'm here to tell you, just like 1938, and that transition, the success, our future success depends on our industrial base. No, by the way, not only is it different than 1938, if you look at the last time we were talking about the buildup that we're looking at in the Navy right now, right? So we are going to be building up by FY26, to the highest shipbuilding rates in the submarine force that we've ever had, including the Reagan buildup of the 80s. More submarine tonnage than we've ever produced in this nation. But from 1938, we atrophied industrial base. From in the end of the 1980s, when we cashed in a peace dividend, we also atrophied the industrial base more. We stopped building ships and submarines. We are, like I said, cashing in the peace dividend. And so what we did was we even about a 33% manufacturing base in the United States across all sectors. In the 80s, we've now atrophied that down to about 11, 12% of our entire workforce right now. So this transition to service-based industries rather than manufacturing. What I'm here to tell you is to be a great nation for the decades and generations to come, it has to be about rebuilding our national industrial base. Starting with the submarine force is a keynote there, but I don't care where we make manufacturing people. We need them in all sectors to do all kinds of things, and that's what's going to keep America great. Is what it comes down to, right? Without that, I can't do it. So we step back and say, well, what do we got to do about that, right? As Joe talked about, we've decided as a government team, hey, over time, we become very transactional in how we did business and how we bought ships and how we communicated to our industrial base. We're here to tell you that, we're here to help now, right? We understand, and we're pulling a lot of levers across many different things about, building infrastructure, because we got to build the stuff. We got to have the footprint and the machines to go do the things, right? We are investing in technology to make the workforce that we have more effective. But essentially, what it comes down to is that stuff doesn't build stuff, only people build stuff, right? And the people in this room are the start of that, right? That's the most important thing that we need right now is to reestablish manufacturing, continue to grow manufacturing. And so I'm very glad that we're doing it here in Pittsburgh. You've been a hub of it forever in the United States. You continue to be a hub, right? Pennsylvania itself, as I build Columbia-class submarines, this is the highest concentration in Pennsylvania of anywhere of critical suppliers for me. Right, so the work is out there, and business is good. Like I said, we are on unprecedented buildups right now, and it all starts with the men and women that are across this stage today. So once again, I thank you for the journey that you're going to embark upon. I look forward to welcoming you as you come across the stage and seeing you in the facilities out there in the world and in the country as we continue to build the future force. And I will just say, as you cross the stage, just so you know, we're going to hand out a couple of these battle coins right now. It's a military tradition, right, to welcome you to an elite team, part of a team that's going to go build the future force. So again, thank you everybody for coming out today. I'm great to be here. And again, thank you again to the young women who are setting the stage for the future of America. We are all counting on you and what you're going to do going forward. Tell all your friends, bring them along as well too. Okay? Thanks everybody.
Thank you, sir. As we begin to mine the area, and I have a lot of discussions with the senior leaders of companies, and we met Mike Rippage, our next speaker, in Cleveland. And generally speaking, when you start to have this conversation about how hard it is for you to find really good people and bring them into your company, and talent acquisition, retention, they generally fall in one of two camps. The first one is, and it always starts with this, Joe, you just don't understand our business. And that goes to, you just can't find young people today. They're just, all of them are no good, with the exception of you guys, of course. They want too much money. They don't want to come to work. They want to work from home. They have all these reasons on why it doesn't work. And then you start to, as we've worked through this program through the years, we find that young Americans today are 100 times more talented than their fathers were. My children are 100 times more talented than I was, and yet we refuse to accept they just might be a little bit different. So when we met with Mike in Cleveland, and Ryan Lochner, who's here today, his HR guy, and we said, hey, what do you think? And they said, we just need some help. We know we've got to do something different, but we're just not completely sure on what to do. And that became this part. And so we selected ATNF to be our best practice model. And it's every year we pick one to be the best practice model. So they have a deliberate investment to look at their whole system and improve it. So today I'm very proud to announce that yesterday Schroeder Industries is going to be our best practice model for next year. John, please rise and accept. And so you're going to follow in the trail, so maybe next year you're going to have to stand at this podium. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the CEO of ATNF, Mike Rippich.
Thank you. I brought some props. Hope you don't mind. Our work plays a crucial role in the nation's mission for constructing submarines that are unmatched in terms of safety and capability. That's all of us now, and that's truly an amazing thing. For ATNF, that means we make large metallic components that are involved in weapon systems, propulsion, and life sustainment on the Virginia class and now as well on the Columbia class. And it's an incredible thing to be part of. Our journey or the Talent Pipeline Program has transformed the way ATNF has transformed ATNF by really allowing us to focus on what really matters. Our work is difficult as it is important, and it's not for everyone. And that's one of the things that we learned very, very clearly as we went through the program. Over the last 10 months, TMG worked with our leaders and managers on metrics and tactics to make us a better team to join. Once we established what was the right fit, and that took some time to determine the right profile, the program also connects us with skill-building resources. Our attraction and retention rates are exceptional. They are now, but they weren't when we started. ATNF started in 1940. My great-grandfather was an entrepreneur in Cleveland, son of immigrants, and was really looking to make a start for himself and to create something great. He would be very, very proud to see all of us here, for us as ATNF to be part of this great coalition with the Navy, TMG, the educational and training providers, leaders, and certainly the employers and their new team members that are going to be signing on today. So we started our journey in the Talent Pipeline in August, and we quickly aligned with the strategies and recommendations that TMG was presenting. We were soon asked to share as a best practice model with the other companies and who now we consider cohorts in this effort. And some of the things that we learned were very interesting. The greatest practice we have so far discovered is that our collective purpose is something to celebrate. It's also something we use to measure potential team members against. And by learning this, we're able to effectively raise the bar and stand tall and apart in a sea of many, many companies that were looking for talent in an era that was unmatched in terms of the constriction or the lack of talent that was actually out there looking to move. So some of that celebration of purpose can be very simple, but it ends up being very, very meaningful. I'll use the example of these hats, which we designed with Enterprise and Columbia. These are two of the programs that we serve. We also serve aircraft carriers with components. And basically just having these made for our team. Every team member has these. And it has our credo on the back, which says build, protect, energize, and move. And that's our what we call our tagline. And so we gave these out to all of our team members, and simple artifact, if you will, but very meaningful in terms of what it means to us to be part of these programs. And furthermore, we allow our team members, or we've promoted our team members sending these to vets that they know, people that are going to be entering the military, with a personal note and thank you. And so it deepens that purpose and is a reminder to us and helps us tell our story to people when we're in the community as to, hey, did you serve? And we can say that we serve as shipbuilders and we support our mission to preserve our freedom and world peace. So all for a hat. So it's been very powerful for us. Really, just embracing that. And the other innovation that we had was the RJP videos, which some of our team that is now on board has had the pleasure to look at and really learn about what it's like to really work at our company, as opposed to wondering. We have our actual team members explaining that it's tough, it's meaningful, it's tough, and that it's tough. So that we really are looking to find those folks that have great purpose and a fair amount of grit as well in order to fit in with us and fit in with the mission. So the part of that was asking for more referrals from our team members. We had done so for the past in years past, and we had an incentive like a lot of other companies have. But we really went to the team with an appeal, and we said, look, we really need help. The program really needs help. This is important. Are you in? And of course, everyone said they were in, and said, what this means to us is that we want you to talk to select people. We want you to share an invitation with folks that you would deem worthy to be part of this team and this family, but to do it selectively. So we had some cards made, QR cards made that we handed out. We also have a link that could be forwarded. But we said only send this to friends and friends of friends, and not to spread it out further than that, because we felt that the efficacy of that sense of purpose remains the closer it is to the person that's basically sending that invitation. So it's worked well. So in a world where we had less people looking and more companies trying to attract that talent, we became much more selective, and lo and behold, it's starting to pay off for us in spades. And we learned that through the program. And Joe and his team with TMG, I think they were a bit surprised as well to see for us what worked, as we've been surprised to see what's working for others and trying to adopt that as well. So, in terms of the referrals, we had a couple a week that we would, or a month rather, that we would average before we made the appeal. And so far for the year, we've had 100, and 20 of those have become team members. So it's a very good and very strong way for us to attract talent. So we shift our energies away from coaxing people and begging people to come, please. We got a lawn sign out that says we're hiring, signing bonuses, incentives, and so forth, and really shift all of our focus to really just finding the folks that really get it, that really want to do this important work, that's meaningful for them, and that they, as we've said, have the grit in order to pull it off. Not always do they have the skills or all the abilities, and that's the other part of the program, the talent pipeline program, that's important, that we can provide that. And collectively, we can provide that. So one other area, and this is exciting, veterans. So through the program, we started to think about veterans and how we may be able to access folks that are coming out of the military or that have served in the military, because that's got to be a wellspring of people that love purpose, that love what we do, that want to be a part of preserving freedom. So we've been able to find various organizations through the program where we've been able to attract and bring in veterans. We started out, when we took a look, we had 13 amongst us already when we started, and just in the last 2 months we've brought in 8 more. So, and the most recent one's coming right out of the Marines, stepping away from service and right onto our team. And our existing veterans have taken the task of shepherding these folks in and making a transition from wherever they were, whether it was a military or somewhere else, with their common experience and knowledge of what it's like and what's life is like for us. They've been very helpful in that, and we're excited about that going forward, and would not have found this to be a resource otherwise. So in 2022, we had 30 to 35 open positions pretty much the whole year, okay? We were at 240 team members, that level, for pretty much the entire year. So we were looking, and we were not being successful in terms of making a dent. Although we did bring in 100 people over the course of that year. So just, I'm not a math whiz, but if you start at one end, at the beginning, we were at 240, we brought in 100, and we ended at 240. That means we churned through everybody that we had brought in, essentially, in terms of numbers. So I think I'm getting the signal here to wrap this up, but I'm really excited about this. So I want to thank my team. I want to thank Ryan Lochner, Tara Rash, for everything that they've done to pull this off, along with TMG and the Navy. Also want to thank Hunter, Trent, and Isaac, who are going to become part of our team and stand with us, stand firmly in the path of threat that might want to do us or our way of life harm. So that's the importance of what we do. This day is great, and welcome aboard, everybody. You're going to have a great career.
So I'd like to introduce the program lead for the Pittsburgh region, Mr. Vince Jordan. Him and his team, excuse me, have done an incredible amount of work to pull this thing together. I'd like to publicly thank them and introduce Vince, who will continue to introduce our next speaker. Vince, thanks a lot.
Joe, thank you very much. Mike, thank you again, and the ATF team. John and the Schroeder team, we're really looking forward to working with you in the same capacity as a best practice for cohort number 2. So while most of our focus in the Talent Pipeline program is around our employer partners and their demand for talent, we of course must understand the supply of that talent. Where does it come from? How many, where are they, and how many are they? What are they learning, and how are they being prepared to transition into the workforce? So early in our establishment of the Pittsburgh flag, I had the opportunity to visit Lawrence County Career and Technical Center in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, and meet the principal. The passion and commitment he showed to building not only the technical skills of the students, but equally important, their employability skills, were and are models of what right looks like. Since that first meeting, our next speaker has moved on to another school where he continues to challenge and support his students on their journey to becoming the best versions of themselves. So to represent our training provider partners, please join me in welcoming to the podium the Executive Director of Western Area CTC and Kristen's husband, my friend, Mike Milanovich.
Thank you, Vince. So there are a few reasons I'm sure I was asked to present today. What I think is probably the most important reason is, of all you young men and women, how many of you attended your local career and technical center? Wonderful. The number one reason I'm here is I know all of your directors, and I'm way cooler than all of them. With that being said, building the relationships is what we do here. Supporting our students is what we do here. Throughout all the speeches, throughout society, throughout social media, throughout mainstream media, you hear problems, 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 right? There's not many kids out there, or adults for that matter, who don't use social media for problems. The beautiful thing about this initiative and all the hard work they're doing is it's all about solutions. It has been nothing but solutions. Solutions for industry partners, solutions for academia, solutions for young adults that want to go out and start their career. And part of those solutions are offering strategies. Strategies for the partners in industry. Strategies for my entire building, all of my shops that I offer, all of my students that I want to see go out and co-op. Co-op is really what these gentlemen are doing. They're just trying to do it at a state level and a national level. I'm doing it for Washington County. The solutions that we come up with are building these relationships with our industry partners, getting to know our industry partners, but more importantly, getting them to know, for me, the Western Area Career and Technology Center. Bring them down to our building, introduce them to our students, introduce them to our instructors, show them all the great skills that we are teaching you. Better yet, show them all the skills that you are learning, which is proof of your performance when you take your NOCTIs, which is proof of your performance when you do get to go out on co-op. Stop going to high school and start going to work and get paid to do it, which is our number one goal. So I'm very proud for a different reason. I'm proud because I've dedicated my life to education. I've transitioned through many facets of that education. I'm now the executive director of the Western Area Career and Technology Center, and I'm proud of every one of my kids that get to go out into industry. Mostly because they're going to start paying taxes so I can retire sooner. So get to work, earn those big wages, and do a great job for yourself. Because from this moment forward, it is about yourself. It is about the young adult that you are going to become, the type of person you want to be. Your work ethic will dictate how you are respected and how you are viewed. And forevermore, your name is your name. And when people speak it, how would you like them to reference it? Hard worker, or, boy, we should have skipped that one, right? So, first and foremost, and lastly, nice round of applause for the kids. I also have the honor of recognizing our training provider partners. When your organization is announced, please stand and remain standing until all the names have been called. We'd like to recognize you individually and as a group. So without ado, ATDM, please rise. Community College of Allegheny County. A.W. Beatty. Parkway West. Lawrence County CTC. Erie County Community College. Pittsburgh Technical College. Northwest Moreland CTC. Mahoning CTC. Forbes Road CTC. Connellsville Area CTC. Industrial Arts Workshop. Western Area CTC. Mercer County CTC. Venango Technology Center. Beaver County CTC. And Steel Center Tech. Please give a round of applause for our training providing partners. And thank you, Vince, for this journey you're helping lead us on.
Mike, thanks so very much. So starting the talent pipeline program in a new area is certainly a challenge for our team. We're not familiar with the people or the institutions that are in adjacent spaces, nor are we knowledgeable of what programs are currently in place, what has been tried in the past, and what lessons have been learned. Our facilitator partners play a crucial role in helping us understand the ecosystem we are wading into. I recall my first meeting with our next speaker at a coffee shop just a few blocks from here. I described the talent pipeline program, and she instantly connected the dots. Since that first meeting, she and her organization have been true advocates for this effort, inviting us to speak at numerous venues, highlighting this program in their newsletter, and being an invaluable resource in so many ways. To represent our facilitator partners, please join me in welcoming to the podium the Executive Director for the Consortium for Public Education, Jackie Ford.
You're right, Mike. I shouldn't follow you, but that's okay. Thank you, Vince Jordan, Joe Bardo, and all of those from TMG who have done the hard work of launching, developing, and sustaining the Pittsburgh flag of the Pennsylvania Talent Pipeline. Thank you, too, for your work putting together today's wonderful event, this celebration day. This is amazing. I'm so excited to be here. And thank you, especially to the United States Navy, for your vision, encouragement, and support of this important work. My organization, the Consortium for Public Education, is dedicated to building impactful school business partnerships so that every student may graduate from high school with a viable plan for their futures. To achieve this, we work with employers, educators, and students throughout southwestern Pennsylvania so that youth can access the opportunities, resources, and experiences they need to imagine, plan, and prepare for their futures. This year, we have worked with 90 different school districts and career and technology centers across an 8-county region, mostly in southwestern Pennsylvania, connecting them with scores of employer partners, post-secondary institutions, and community and workforce development organizations. Personally, throughout my own career, I've almost always worked at the intersection between education and workforce. I've participated in more discussions and planning sessions that I can even remember, where lots of very well-intentioned people have come together to talk about what we need to do to develop a sustainable and robust workforce pipeline. It's taken a long time, but it's been really exciting over the past few years to begin seeing diverse coalitions of employers, educators, and community organizations come together to develop and implement projects like this one, that we're celebrating today. And it's been especially exciting to see these collaborations begin to realize success. It's also personally been very exciting to me to see these employers and other partners come together and recognize the incredible talent we have in our high school students, and to be able to recognize that these opportunities should be extended to them to help build that workforce pipeline. I want to congratulate all of the students here today on all of the hard work you've done to get here. You deserve this, and we're so excited for you. In spring of 2022, one of my board members who's here today, Dr. Deb Roach from CCAC, told me about a new group she'd met with. This group was coming to our region to work with employers, high schools, and training providers to create partnerships and the connections that the Navy needed to be able to build their new fleet of submarines. I was hopeful, and I reached out to Vince, like he just talked about our coffee meeting, to learn more. I left that meeting energized and excited because, like my organization, TMG knew that success depended on building a coalition of organizations, schools, employers, training providers, and facilitator partners who could help make these connections. I was also excited to learn about their commitment to ensuring that those hired through this program, including all of the young people here today, make a successful, positive transition into the workforce, building careers where both they and their employers will thrive. The consortium is proud to be a partner in this project, and we thank you for the opportunity to connect our schools and students with this amazing program. At this time, it is my pleasure to acknowledge the facilitator partners here today. When your organization is announced, please stand and remain standing until all the names have been called. Catalyst Connection, Consortium for Public Education, New Century Careers, Erie Chamber of Growth Partnership, Partner for Work, Bots IQ, the German American Chamber of Commerce, Lawrence County School to Work, Pittsburgh Technology Council, Turbine Workforce, PTAC Northwest Commission, Keystone CEC, Intermediate Unit 1, PA Career Link, Aircraft Carrier Industrial Base Coalition, Marine Machinery Association, General Dynamics Electric Boat, Newport News Shipbuilding, Shipbuilders Council of America, and Submarine Industrial Base Council. Now please join me and offer a round of applause for these facilitator partners in acknowledgement of the important role they play. Thank you.
Jackie, thank you so very much. So as we were putting together the agenda for today, we wanted to find a way to include as many of our employer partners as possible. In a moment, you'll hear from many of them about what they learned and how their participation in the Talent Pipeline program has had a positive impact on their recruiting, hiring, onboarding, and as Joe says, retention. It's all about retention, about those goals. But not every employer was able to find the right talent to join their team. While this could be seen as a negative, we saw the commitment to learning and improving that this next speaker brought to every interaction and engagement as a positive, and we wanted to let him share some of his experiences with you. So please join me in welcoming to the podium the Operations Manager for TriPro Technologies, Will Corner. Will.
Good afternoon. I'd like to start with thanking Rear Admiral Papano for being here today and to help stress how important this is to our country and the commitment we are receiving at the highest level. Also, I had a great paragraph about Matt Sermon. Unfortunately, he's not here, so one line for Commander Master Chief Josh Sturgill. Similar to Matt's speech in Virginia, I don't want to steal his thunder, but Commander Master Chief is also very articulate in stressing how important what you folks are about to embark on is to our country. So I also want to thank both Joes, Vince, Ken, and Noel for all their support throughout the year and giving us a shot with the program. I'm Will Corner, the Operations Manager for TriPro Technologies. We're a small product development company that specializes in machining of intricate, tight tolerance components, usually utilized in plastic injection mold building. Our company was actually started by my father in the back of his garage, just doing mold design. I worked for him sweeping the floor and almost failed 7th grade drafting because I was used to drawing on a computer, not a piece of paper. So that did not work out well. I argued with the old man, nobody uses a slide rule anymore, why do I have to use a piece of paper? He quickly reminded me who was in charge. In high school, NAFTA kind of gutted my hometown, so I thought I had to go to college to get a good career. It was pretty much pushed on me from all aspects of my life. After college, my friends who went into the trades who just became machinists, and instead of wasting money, came back. They had bikes and boats, and I had debt. This rings really true because one of those friends is in the room right now, and Jason at Ducati was still sweet. He was riding a motorcycle, and I was paying checks for college. So it was pretty frustrating at the time. I'm a second-generation toolmaker, like I said, but my father wouldn't let me become the typical shop owners with those perks, so I left for another opportunity to be a program manager. That was a great career path. Unfortunately, it wasn't the lifestyle I wanted. My parents were there for scouts and football, and the work-life balance in corporate wasn't for me. So I decided to go back into the business and build something that I would be proud to work for with customizable hours, more vacation, things like that, like live the work-life balance that I was not getting in corporate. Now, we've built a vertically integrated machine shop. We've got CAD, 3D printing, additive manufacturing, CNC mills, EDM, wire EDM, grinding, and a couple injection molding presses. We're currently working on some military cable overmolding. Unfortunately, that's for the Army, so I don't know if that's a bad word here or not, but hopefully if you guys do your job, we won't need tanks, the submarines can get out in front of it. So, but in the meantime, we appreciate the work from those guys. We do a lot of medical product development. So again, if you guys continue to build the submarines and U.S. Aircraft carriers, we're not going to need the medical equipment that we build for the warfighter. Also in the cool world, we're working on a Bluetooth guitar pick right now. It's just fun. So the future growth, I'm still looking, like Vince said, haven't found it yet. I'm looking for my right-hand man or woman to make cool stuff like Bluetooth guitar picks and fishing dredges. And we're also looking for cooler stuff to make. So if anybody needs help, we have some spindle time coming up in July. The future is also, we have a focus with the ARM Institute locally, which is the Advanced Robotic Manufacturing Institute, and we've kind of partnered up with some AI folks to work with them on decentralizing tribal knowledge. So right now you guys are learning, and so what we want to be able to do is have one person who really knows their stuff, like my friend Jason there, that can be able to disseminate that knowledge throughout the company if you have multiple locations and things like that. So there's a lot of neat things going on here in Pittsburgh in the AI world, and a lot of people think that AI means robots mean less people, but those robots need to be built, and they need to be assembled and installed. So AI does not mean less people, actually means less white-collar jobs, and that's a smart thing, not a white-collar Navy thing. But the NAVC program, the future requires smart, dedicated people. The NAVC pipeline helps us with that plan. It really gets us out in front of other people, gets the employers and the instructors on the same page, When I was on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, it was amazing the difference between what the employers expected and what they were actually teaching. It's much closer now after the program's been here. Also with the fellow employers, we can shared vendor pools for outside processes, heat treating, plating, welding, and smart, like-minded people from a variety of backgrounds. You've got programmers, you've got HR in the same room. And then a couple thoughts here for prospective NAVC partners. If you haven't joined yet, since I haven't hired yet, TriPro asks you to stay away for 2 to 3 more months so I can continue to look for mine. I'm actually kidding. Jump in. It gets you in front of the people you need to be in front of. It's amazing, the program, the doors that it's opened for us, the people that we've introduced. Even though it's not been a right fit for us, we've been able to link other students with other companies and make those introductions and help them find careers. So in closing, we'll look around the room and see who the NAVC program has brought together. I am a very small grease fitting on a very large ship. We all know what the problem is and what's at stake if we don't come together. This is not about our business, it's about our country. The greatest generation, World War II, will never be surpassed, but if we don't bring the opportunity back to chase them, by making things here again, then everything they fought for will be erased.
So as we continue the program, there's a magic kind of relationship that exists as we start to bring people together. When an employer works with a specific training provider at Technical High School or the Technical Pittsburgh Technology Technical College, the product of that is this new hire. And so we're very, very proud, and a personal friend that I've grown from Holtec International. Jack Johnson is the VP of Human Resources. And I'd like to recognize Christy Swagman. Christy, stand up over there. So when Jack and Christy get together, it produces Madeline, who's going to come up here and speak in a minute about her experience. So I'm really happy to get the prospective employer. So I welcome to the podium Jack Johnson.
Oh, good evening. Being a lifelong Pittsburgh area person, it's a tremendous event here. And also being a human resource person, this is absolutely fantastic. So as Joe mentioned, I'm Jack Johnson from Holtec International. We have a facility here in East Pittsburgh, PA. And before I introduce Madeline, I do want to thank the Navy and TMG, on the left and the right here, for the work in revitalizing an industrial base and working to facilitate the connection of students with employers. Your combined efforts are having impact for all of us and will continue as we proceed. Now let me talk about Madeline, one of my favorite subjects here since she joined us. As the Pittsburgh flag for the pipeline was raised in 2022, Holtec International was paired with several CTEs, including Pittsburgh Technical College. With the help of Christy and Beth, Beth is over there, Beth Appel, in the fall of 22, I was invited to drop in, just drop in, Jack, and you'll meet the team. You'll meet the kids, you'll meet the instructors, and I did that. One part of the human resource profession is it never gets old to have the opportunity to spend time with candidates, and especially young candidates that may not know what they're studying for or what they're practicing for, and they may not see the light at the end of the tunnel. Now, that light isn't always a train, right? Usually it's a very bright opportunity. And I was given that opportunity to talk to the students, the welding class, and say, here's an opportunity, and it happened to be Holtec's opportunity, but there's several companies that have the same opportunity for our students. On the day that I dropped in, I met a group of kids that were eager to hear what I had to say. and one of those was Madeline. And from that introduction to the time that the school toured our facility to the next stop where they came up for interviews, Madeline was clearly a leader and impressed us with her proactive approach, her questions, and ultimately her welding skills. We have a pretty standard welding requirement. It's a six-inch test, 2G, 3G. So it is challenging for some folks. Madeline passed it outstandingly, and then she was hired. However, more importantly, since she was hired, in the 2 months that she's been with Holtec, she has distinguished herself by her skill, again, her maturity. She's walking into a predominantly male environment, and that was not a problem for Madeline. She's very confident, and her skills and her abilities have won over her supervisors and her coworkers. She has also taken the opportunity to advance herself compensation-wise by testing up. So she is not only confident in what she does, but her skills are showing through, and she's being rewarded financially for that. So with that, I want to thank you for allowing me to introduce Madeline Seyfried, an outstanding welder, but more importantly, a strong and independent woman that has embarked upon a lifelong career, which is the goal of this organization. So Madeline, please come on.
Thank you for the introduction, Jack. Before I start, I want to thank the Navy and TMG for this opportunity and for the work they've done to make this event possible. Over the past few years, my life has been all about making important decisions. All throughout high school, I was unsure of what I was going to do with the next chapter of my life. It wasn't until my senior year that I made the decision to attend Pittsburgh Technical College and enroll in the welding program, which, by the way, has been the best decision of my life. I get asked all the time, though, what made you decide to choose a career in welding? I say that there are three main reasons why I chose welding as my career. First, welding appealed to me as I like hands-on learning. Second, there are lots of books and studying that comes along with attending a traditional four-year college, which just didn't sound appealing to me. And third, and probably most importantly, I was afraid of college debt and potentially never using my degree or not loving my career. So after narrowing down my options, I took a leap and chose welding. When I was younger, my dad showed me how to MIG weld, but even then, I was only welding little tacks, so it wasn't much. When I started school, I didn't know a single thing about welding. I didn't know what stick welding was or how to use a grinder. After starting at PTC, I quickly found that I had a passion for welding, and I was very excited to see where it was going to take me in the future. When Jack came to my school last year and spoke to my class about Holtec, I instantly knew I wanted to be a part of this company. In April, I had the opportunity to start my internship at Holtec International with an offer to continue my employment after the internship ended. Since starting, I've had the chance to practice reading and understanding blueprints, operating an overhead crane, welding on big projects, and so much more. It was definitely a little intimidating at first, coming from a little shop at my school to this giant facility at Holtec and seeing machines and tools that I've never seen before and working with experienced welders, fitters, and inspectors. But I quickly got the hang of things, and within my first few weeks, I tested up from a D welder to a B welder, and I look forward to testing to an A welder. The area of Holtec that I am assigned to is responsible for fabricating and welding heat transfer equipment that will be used on the Navy's nuclear submarines and possibly surface warfare ships. Currently, only the most experienced welders are assigned to that work. My hope is that someday soon I will be given an opportunity to support the Navy with my skills. Thanks to my new career, at 19 years old and after just a few months of employment, I'm proud to have my own apartment and a car and responsible for all of my bills. The career that I chose and the wages that I am earning through my employment have made me financially independent with job security. I truly can't thank everyone enough who has supported me and got me to where I am today. I'm especially thankful for my instructors at PTC and my parents that saw my potential and pushed me to be the welder I am today. 2 years after making that important decision to attend PTC and become a welder, I can proudly say that I will be graduating this Saturday with an associate's degree in welding technology with a career and no college debt. Thank you again for this opportunity, and I want to extend my congratulations to all the CTE graduates recognized today. Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing. Thanks, Madeline. Nice job. Way to go. So now the main event. So I'd like to introduce my co-master of ceremonies, Mr. Brian Kennedy. When we came to Pittsburgh, again, we have a position called the Local Partner Engagement Coordinator, and PTC was the perfect fit for us. So Brian, if you'll join me on the stage. And we'll begin the main event. So Brian, you got it from here. Can you handle it?
You know, I was doing really well right up until I walked on the podium. And
All right, brother, here we go.
Good thing that your team has given me a backup script to work off. This is great. So, good afternoon. I'm Brian Kennedy, and I'm with an organization called the Pittsburgh Technology Council. If you haven't heard of us, we're a trade association here in Pittsburgh that represents almost 1,000 members from across the 13-county region. We represent some of the most well-named manufacturing names that you know in Pittsburgh: U.S. Steel, Alcoa, PPG, Covestro, and hundreds of family-owned small businesses. We also represent some of the most exciting AI and defense robotics-related businesses in the region. Let me tell you, I'm really honored to be here with all of you today as you symbolically begin your new career in the manufacturing base here in Western PA. I want to read to you. I like to always begin with the end in mind, right? And so I wanted to, of course, I skipped off of this. I wanted to begin with just a quick overview of what the Department of Defense's mission statement is, what you're all part of. And Admiral, I hope I get this right, because I'm going to try to do this from memory. But when you think about the Department of Defense, you think about the offensive, the defensive capabilities. But the actual mission of the department is to provide the military forces that are going to deter war and to keep us all safe, right? And that is what all of you are involved in right now. That's a mission that the Pittsburgh Technology Council can enthusiastically support, to provide such an overwhelming capability in our Department of Defense that nobody wants to challenge us anywhere on the planet. Two quick stories, and I can tell you how we relate to this. I had the opportunity to visit a small town in Romania a couple years ago, Romania being an Eastern European country, formerly under communist rule. And I visited a city of Cluj. If you don't know Cluj, it's better known as Transylvania, where the vampires are. And I visited a very small town out in the mountains, and I was with the mayor of Cluj at the time, and we were flown over by some very loud jets. I'm not sure. I think they actually were U.S. Navy fighters that flew over our head. And the mayor grabbed me at the time, and he said, "Do you know what that is?" I said, "That must be your Air Force flying over here." And he said, No. He goes, "That's your Air Force, and that's the sound of freedom. And that's the sound that the communists are never coming back to my country." And it wasn't, he explained, it wasn't until NATO had positioned those aircrafts just a couple hours north of Cluj that the people of Romania actually felt sure that they could make their own future, that in fact there was enough deterrent force that the Russians would never come back. That's how important it is when we talk about the Department of Defense's mission. They're not just keeping the United States safe, but they're deterring war across the planet. Monica Takich is here from our team at the Tech Council. Welcome. She runs our Advanced Manufacturing Network. Second story, 3 of our team members had the opportunity March? In the earliest days of the invasion of Ukraine to spend several weeks in Poland at the border with Ukraine and seeing firsthand what can happen when you can't deter war, when in fact war does break out, and the destabilization and the refugees who we were there helping. We are so proud of the work that the United States military does in its mission and succeeding. Admiral, I also want to tell you that we are a town that still builds things, and we are very proud to make things. We're super honored that the Navy has entrusted us with such an important part of your mission in working in the nuclear Navy submarines. We know that every day thousands of people in the U.S. Marines, thousands of people in the Navy go to sleep just a few yards from nuclear reactors that have been safely operating across the planet for many decades that were designed right here in southwestern Pennsylvania. So the work that you're doing couldn't be more important. We're very glad to be a partner with TMG. When we first met the TMG team, we knew right away that they spoke our language. We had just launched a registered apprenticeship program that was designed to bring in people from diverse populations and underrepresented steel towns across western Pennsylvania into new high-tech careers. And we understood through that it is only the absolute best employers that recognize how important it is to invest in training and building the talent they need. So all of you have been hired, I can tell you, by the greatest companies we have in Western PA, because they recognize that it's not their job to wait for you to train yourself and go get 10 years of experience. They understand the importance of being part of that mission with you, to invest in your training and invest in your development. So you are working truly for the best of the companies that we have to offer here in Western PA. To the employers, what I'll tell you is we've experienced through our apprenticeship programs, you are hiring people that are going to be your best recruiters. They are going to know your culture, your work ethic, your expectations, and they're going to know people in their networks that are going to fit best. We've seen that in our apprenticeship programs. Madeline, where did she go? I'm going to tell you, Madeline's probably going to be Holtec's best recruiter for female welders, and hopefully inspires more young women across the region to take up that profession. It's going to happen. It's a fact. So very proud to be partnered with TMG. Super honored to be part of the Department of Defense's mission here in Western Pennsylvania. So with that, I will move on to the more formal part of our program, if you're ready.
Admiral Papano, Command Master Chief Sturgill, would you join us on the stage?
Thank you. So our first employer that I'm going to ask to come to the stage is Holtec International, who is represented by Jack Johnston again.
So this is the opportunity where the employers get to talk a little bit about what we do, but then also turn it over to our future and current associates. First of all, Holtec International is an engineering and fabricating company that has several areas of focus. Originally, it was a business that was focused on the design and fabrication of heat transfer equipment for the nuclear and fossil power generation industry. That business then moved to the fabrication design of equipment that can manage spent fuel from nuclear power plants. And we are currently the leading supplier of nuclear power to nuclear power generation facilities, both domestically and internationally. In further support of the need to support nuclear power, we have now gone into the business over the last couple of years of decommissioning nuclear power plants that have been closed due to their age. We currently own 3 plants that are in decommissioning, and we have a 4th plant that we may actually, depending on some help from the government, may restart due to the need for clean energy. So a company that I joined 10 years ago that was simply making large heavy plate metal objects may be actually owning and operating a nuclear power plant. So it's a tremendous transition for Holtec. And then finally, for the last dozen years or more, the owner of Holtec has had a vision of designing and developing and building a small modular reactor. And that is the future to clean energy in this world, where we replace these mammoth, extremely expensive, aging out nuclear facilities with power plants that can provide regional power. So we are excited that we are well on the way, and unlike most of our competitors, and there are many, we actually can build most of the components where they have to ask us to build it for them. So we're in a very strong position. Now, the question is, how do we connect with the Navy and the pipeline project? Well, with the Navy, we have designed, and as Madeline mentioned, currently in our East Pittsburgh facility, we are fabricating heat transfer equipment for nuclear submarines and hopefully eventually surface warfare ships. At our Camden facility, which is in Camden, New Jersey, which is also part of the pipeline, but the Philadelphia region, our advanced machining capabilities, we have completed several large machining requirements for direct suppliers to the Navy. With the pipeline project, our Camden facility has just completed their second signing event. So just a few weeks ago, we had the second participation in that program, and we are eager to have our second signing facility or signing ceremony next year here in Pittsburgh. The work of TMG has opened our vision to the various CTEs and talented students and allowed companies like Holtec to connect with them. Absent that connection, many of these CTEs and students would not otherwise have been exposed to companies like Holtec International. So that relationship has resulted in great success, both here in Pittsburgh and also in our Philadelphia facility. So I am a strong proponent and very appreciative of the Navy's efforts, but also what TMG has done for Holtec and other companies like us. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, join us on stage, please, Madeline Safried, Jillian Carter, and Andrew Grohl. Great. Next, I'd like to welcome to the stage another great Pittsburgh employer, the Elwood Group, who will be represented this afternoon by Carrie Rust, Chief Human Resources Officer.
Thank you. Again, my name is Carrie Rust. I'm the Chief Human Resources Officer for Elwood Group. Don't worry, all the names that are listed on the screen, unfortunately, they're not here today, but I'm very proud to be representing all of them in Elwood. Elwood is an American-owned supplier of quality metals and custom engineered components for critical applications in support of our nation's defense and infrastructure. So what does that mean? We make and manufacture very large forgings, large steel products that are going into the ships that are being built today. With 25 locations across North America, we have a national presence, but in Western Pennsylvania, it's our home, and it has been for more than 110 years. Elwood is focused on recruiting and retaining the very best talent in all areas of manufacturing. We continue to work to build the highest quality workforce across our company, and we live and breathe our tagline, work hard but care harder. Over the past year, we have worked closely with the United States Navy in their mission to build a unique talent pipeline. The program enhances our opportunity to connect with area students and career centers and find those talented individuals who fill our need for skilled trained workers. In fact, as you see, we have 4 facilities actively participating in the pipeline program. The next generation of manufacturing workers want to know that the work they are doing is important and impactful to our society. Our partnership with the U.S. Navy promotes the idea of meaningful work, and it helps to ensure this message resonates with the team. When we speak to candidates and we mention the Navy, they listen. As employers, we all work to be creative in our recruiting and retention efforts, especially in today's job market. Partnerships and programs like the Pennsylvania Talent Pipeline are key as we work together to promote not only great careers, but impress the important work being done. The signing day is very special for all of us involved because we are now able to celebrate all of you that are in front of me. You are the first class of a very important program that has been in the making for more than a year in Western Pennsylvania. We would like to thank everyone involved who has worked so hard coordinating and building this strong program and who played a role in getting us here today. To be able to see so many here today, as well as those who were unable to attend, including our 80 team members, it's wonderful to see that you're ready to begin your journey, take ownership of your individual career paths with employers like Elwood and all of my fellow employers in the room. Every industry relies on manufacturing, and the defense industry is no different. That is why this program and our partnership with the United States Navy is so important to us now and in the future. Every industry needs skilled, talented people like all of you to keep our country moving forward. So on behalf of Elwood, I would like to wish us all the very best today and into our next cohort. Thank you all.
Great. Thank you, Karen. I think I've heard things right. Originally, you had planned to hire 65 employees, but have hired almost 100 at this point in the program. So congratulations on that. Thank you. So our next employer I'd like to bring up to the podium is Hunt Valve, who is represented today by Vice President for Navy Affairs, Jim Kenny. So Jim, could you join us here on the podium?
Good evening, all. And first of all, to our most distinguished guests, the young tradesmen and women here, the ability to change form, fit, or function is truly unique. It is a national imperative. And we're just thankful for your commitment and your engagement in this program and your commitment to be able to support our way of life, our national defense. I've been fortunate enough for 42 years to work on every single platform that exists in our Navy, to see the cool works of your labor. So God bless you and really appreciate that. Hunt Valve, we make valves, linear actuators that are on every single Navy platform in existence today. We have well-advanced progress here in bringing additive manufacturing to the Navy. Welders, non-destructive testers, are all part of that family. And Hunt is part of the bigger group, which is Fairbanks Morris Defense. We are the hull, mechanical, electrical folks that power the U.S. Navy. Engines, motors, controllers, valves, heat exchangers, reverse osmosis, goes on, and advanced weapons elevators that are on the Ford Gerald R4, the CBN 78. Honored to be here today, and congratulations to you all, and it's an honor to be representing and part of this program. Thank you. Oh, yeah, by all means.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to bring on to stage a brand that is certainly well known for what it does to bring on new talent and train new talent, and that is GE Power Conversion. This is going to be represented today by EH&S quality leader Len Hill. Welcome, Len.
Good afternoon. It's my privilege to be here today and represent our GE Power Conversion team in this great event for Talent Pipeline Ceremony. GE Power Conversion is actually a relatively small division of GE overall. We're in the process of breaking up into 3 companies, and pretty soon we'll be an aerospace, a power, and a healthcare company, but we're part of the power division in the future. We've been privileged, really, to be a great part of the Navy over the last 3 decades. A lot of it on the surface fleet, such as the DD-1000, the LHA, the LHD, the TAKE, the ESB programs, and more recently on the energy recirculation system for the Columbia program itself. So certainly it's been our privilege to be part of the Navy and their ongoing efforts to protect our country. Being part of the talent program has helped us understand the importance of engagement with schools early in the process. Thanks to the GE has been able to have a bigger pipeline now than we had after 12 months of recruiting. So we really, in this area, found this very valuable to us, and we've really appreciated the efforts here. The opportunity to engage in these students' lives right at the beginning of their career and help with training and recruitment at this time has been really important to us. And the ability to bolster the American workforce is really a privilege, and it's a great contribution to the region and the nation and the Navy in this. We'd like to thank the U.S. Navy, TMG, and Admiral Pompano for piloting the initiative in Pittsburgh. We see great value in it. Power Conversion is looking forward to the upcoming year of collaboration and growing program in Western Pennsylvania. And now we'd like to spend some time introducing the 11 individuals who accepted offer.
Yeah, please join us on stage, Hunter Wegley, Eli Skoko, John McGuire, Michael Zallo, Kelly Doyle, Kyle Stolenwork, Anvar Alia, Ian Novak, Tommy Kraus, and Evan Jordan. And this is a group that had originally intended to hire 5 people. I think it's hired 16, so congratulations. Thank you. Our next employer I'd like to welcome to the stage is Schroeder Industries, represented by Operations Manager John Ciora. Please join us, John.
Hi, my name is John Ciora. I'm the Operations Manager at Schroeder Industries. We're located in Leetsdale, Pennsylvania. We design, manufacture, assemble, and test filters and filter systems for hydraulic and fuels. We've been in the business for over 75 years, started in McKees Rocks, PA, mainly working on mining equipment and morphed into the hydraulic filtration in about 2003, moving to Leetsdale. We also have a plant in Cumberland, Maryland that makes the elements. I would like to thank the Navy, Vince, Joe, TMG for selecting us for the best practice model. We are very excited. Patty and I are looking forward to working with you guys extensively over the next year to improve what we have and hopefully get a lot more talent. Because, as I say, people and culture, they are the #1 priority in a company. In Leetsdale, the industrial park probably has about 40 to 50 companies, and we all have quality problems. We all have attendance problems. We all have inspection issues. We all have sourcing issues. But the only thing that makes every company in that industrial park different is the people that is in that company and the culture that we give to those people. So that's the most important thing. Schroeder produces filters, mobile filtration carts, hydraulic test benches, test points, spare parts that are used on aircraft carriers, submarines, hovercrafts, and land vehicles. Our equipment is also used in testing facilities to ensure clean oil is being used for testing purposes. We started with the Navy about a year ago, and Patty and I attended a lot of the meetings. We went to a lot of the CTEs. It really opened our eyes up to what is out there and what the help is that we can get in the community. So we did a value stream mapping for recruiting, hiring, onboarding, retention process. You know, it showed us some things that we were doing right. It showed us some things that we were doing wrong, some low-hanging fruit that we could fix right away to help our process. And that's why we've hired some of the great individuals that we've had over the past year. Real good story, quick story. Everybody's having sourcing problems. We make filtration carts that go into submarines. There's a Honeywell switch on those filtration carts that we could not get. We had supplier after supplier looking for these. They were nowhere. I emailed Vince and I said, hey, can you please reach out to somebody in the Navy and see if they can help us? There were 30 on our doorstep the following week. So we got you guys your Navy carts a little bit late, but you guys helped us get the parts. So thank you very much.
So please now join us on stage, Jason Adkins, Shelby Kraus, and Mallory Piskark. Thank you. Another great story, I think, as I understand it, that Schroeder Industries had initially committed to hiring 5 team members and have to date hired 37. So congratulations to that team as well. Next, I wanted to ask the team from CP Industries, represented by Bob Ritchell, to join us on stage.
Keep it short and sweet, right? CP Industries, we've been in business for 125 years, manufacturing seamless pressure vessels. Thanks to the Navy, 70% of that business from the Navy. Very, very busy. We don't stop. We weld parts for the Navy. We have between 50 to 60 cylinders to each ship. That there's a lot that goes into it. We just continue working on it. And who better represent our new guys than the guy on the floor? That's pretty much it.
Thank you, Bob. Let's bring some of those people on the floor up to the stage now. Benjamin Ritchie and Matt Walter. Thank you. Let's bring our next employer to the stage, AT&F, represented by HR Manager Ryan Lochner.
Hey everybody. Again, my name is Ryan Lochner. I head up our HR team at AT&F. And just real quick, I wanted to thank the Navy. I got to know a little bit of Admiral Papano and Command Master Chief Sturgis. And one thing you guys have taught us is a little bit about storytelling. You guys have a hard job, but you're good storytellers. And it helps us kind of relay that purpose to the rest of the team. And that's been critical for us. So, and thanks to TMG as well. Had to put up with Ken a lot wherever he is. And Joe and Vince, thank you for all your support kind of to make this program go, giving us a tool set that really worked as the best practice model. Mike, you're long-winded, but thank you for your support in this program. And Tara, you know it wouldn't happen without you driving this all together. So thank you, everybody. Very important. So what is this AT&F, right? So we say we build, protect, energize, and move the world, right? We do that from Cleveland, Ohio. And what do we make? How do we support the Navy? Specifically, we make large metal fabrications that are pressure sensitive on the submarine. So things that imagine lots of water pressure against, right? So we make missile tubes, torpedo tubes, ballast tanks, hatch doors, right? And the aircraft carriers, not that these guys care that much about that, but we make a lot of structural component parts for the aircraft carrier, right? So when we ship something, it goes on a full 40-foot flatbed, and it's full, right? We might even be the people that are giving you a problem on the highway with the oversized load, right? We make big stuff, and we're real proud to do it. So this year we were the best practice model, and as a best practice model, we've really just seen just a significant improvement in our selection process and the retention of our team members. Just really from the tool set that we learned from Vince early on and Joe. But specifically, things that really hit for us were the realistic job preview. Those you've heard me in other talks, we really hit on this. It's been a huge impact, and how we get to. We don't have to look at every resume anymore, right? So if we have 250 people apply, essentially, only 50 people might make it to the bottom. on their own self-selection, saying, that's not for me. That's too tough. That's not what I want to do. It's not the purpose that matches with me. That allows us to focus on those 50 people and make the right connection. And then there's something called the fifth metric scorecard. We put a lot of energy into this, and this has really taught us a lot about, after we get our team members on board, how we keep them there, how we retain them, right? Other pieces that really came together for us is having leadership committed to this program. It's without that, Tara and I couldn't make things happen. We would be pushing against it, but we had all the help we needed. And then we really learned through the process the purpose. Again, I started that with the storytellers here, right? But the true is getting that story to everybody. And what we've learned is, retention isn't just really an HR issue. We've learned it's really that relationship between what we call our team members and our team managers. And when that relationship is strong, our retention numbers are strong. And we finally figured that out. We've kind of put those pieces together here in the last 5-6 months, and we're making really good strides. So as you can see on the screen behind me, I think so far this year, through this program, we've hired 49 team members. So back in Cleveland, there's a whole different set of CTEs, and I want to thank a couple of those. They're not here, but we've worked really hard with a program through Polaris, another one called Max Hayes, Lorain County JVS, Lincoln Electric has helped us along the way, and another program called Tri-C. So we look forward to doing this again next year, and time to meet our stars, all right?
That's great. Yeah, let's welcome to the stage Isaac Rankin, Trent Thal, and Hunter Pristis. And as they leave the stage, I'm told that they were originally planning to hire 20 employees and have hired 66, so congratulations to that team. Next, I want to just welcome to the stage, actually, a few people from a company called Superbolt here in Pittsburgh, and that's Ryan Kelly, Rebecca Taylor, Kaden Richter, and Kurt Brown. If you could join us, that'd be great. Thank you all. Now I want to invite Marissa D'Angelo from D'Angelo Technologies, founder and CEO of that company, to the stage.
Good evening. I'm Marissa D'Angelo from D'Angelo Technologies. Of course, I want to thank the Navy and TMG. I also want to thank the Pittsburgh Technology Council who linked us into this program. Without them, we'd still be probably looking for our people. A lot of the employers here have hired more people than we have in our whole company, including 3 interns. We're 19 people strong. When we first joined this program, I said, I think we want one person. We really want someone part-time. We ended up listening to TMG, listening to ATNF, and they said friends and family, find friends and family. And then I talked with the Pittsburgh Technology Council, and we were really struggling finding someone. And we ended up picking up through Wright State University, which is out in Ohio, a professor recommended a full-time individual who was working somewhere else and said, hey, I'm really interested in the work you do for the Navy and the work you do for the Air Force, and I want to join. So we successfully hired him. So I guess a little bit of background on D'Angelo Technologies. We're a research and development firm. We are also now, due to our research and development, we have a manufacturing line, so we're starting to grow pretty rapidly. We have 5 verticals. We do aerial delivery systems, we do electronics and wiring systems, we do health and medical, we do rapid prototyping and reverse engineering, And here, the reason we're here today, we do knowledge capture and knowledge dissemination. So we are really focused on how do we optimize training within the Navy, how do we get everybody ready for the next step, how do we make sure we're prepared. So again, we have one employee who's not here today, but we are looking forward to participating next year and hiring several more employees as we continue to grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Marissa. While Marissa's on stage, it makes me think we have a couple members from the U.S. Air Force that have joined us. I am told, Admiral, that they are retired Navy, so even though with the Air Force, they are both retired Navy. So welcome to them as well. Next up, I'd like to bring up Merit Industries, represented by the president of that company, Rob Churchill. Rob, welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Perfect timing for the Air Force to get here. We're aerospace, defense, direct Navy, so we've got it covered. Merit is probably one of the smaller companies in the room right now, but don't judge us by our size. We work on parts that are critical on all nature. So parts that are 30,000 feet in the air or 30,000 feet below. We work with super alloy materials, tight GD&T, complex geometry, and solve problems that become ours because they're tricky. Funny story, when I first met Vince and he told me about the program, it was hard for me to believe because, it's like something that we were looking for a long time. Who cares about us? We're here. We see these struggles right now. I've been in manufacturing for 25 years, and I've seen, the heyday, and I've seen some of the demise. And it hasn't been a easy road by any. I know all my brothers and sisters here in manufacturing can attest to that. It's tough times. You have to be smart, and you have to work really hard. So when Vince came in, and I met him, and we started chatting. I'm like, this guy's got talking about some good things here. I like what he has to say. And I'm in the back of my mind thinking, he's going to send me a big bill. I know this is a consulting thing, and I'm expecting a bill. But it turns out it wasn't. It was out of a genuine concern that we all share because we're patriots for our country, and we want to support the Department of Defense. And it's important for everybody sitting in this room, for our children who aren't, and the future. So very thrilled to be a part of it. Congratulations to all you. We started working with the program back in February, and we've made 2 hires. One is here today. Thank you.
Thank you, and I think he's joined today by Nathan Antill. Nathan, will you join us on the stage? Great. Our next employer today is Integrate Testing, represented by its CEO and founder, Julie Ritzheimer. Julie, if you can join us.
Good evening, everyone. I am Julie Ritzheimer. I am the CEO, President, Chairwoman of the Board, and founder of Integrate Testing Incorporated. We are based in Washington, PA. We've been in business for 18 years, and we do non-destructive testing, and you have no idea how nice it is to be in a room full of people that know what I'm talking about. We are a small company, and the services that we offer, we like to say we offer quality from every angle of non-destructive testing, every angle of working with our customers and our partners in business and our team members. Our mission statement is to improve outcomes, first for our team members, then for our customers, and then for the community at large. We know that we're successful when you've never heard of us, because if you've not heard of us, then we've done our job well and we have protected you. I want to thank TMG and the Don. I'm learning for the opportunity that this program has presented to us. Prior to COVID, we were doing okay. We're small. There's only a few of us, but we were doing okay with our hiring and our retention. But when COVID hit, we had 6 or 7 hires in a row that didn't even make it a couple months. And all of a sudden, our retention just fell apart. So we have been really, really excited to be part of this program. We welcomed 3 new team members this year with the direct intervention of TMG. They got us connected with ATDM, one of our employees. We sent to ATDM for their non-destructive testing program, which is exciting that that even exists. And he brought back a friend. And so there are 2 of our members, and we have an experienced team member that joined us this year as well. As you know, non-destructive testing is a skill which does require quite a bit of experience. So that's a unique challenge for us. But we have been victorious this year. We're looking forward to that 5th metric card that I heard something about, and working with TMG in the future, and also working with the Dawn as we go forward. Thank you.
Great, and please join us on the stage, Christian Hamrick, Josh McCartney, and Fred Durst. Congratulations. Our next employer I'd like to welcome is Precision Profiles, represented by President Matt Luco.
Good evening. My name is Matthew Luco. I'm the president and owner of Precision Profiles in Titusville, PA. We manufacture components for the power generation turbines on the Columbia-class submarine, as well as the power generation turbines and propulsion turbines on the Virginia-class submarine and the aircraft carriers. We're delighted to be here today to celebrate the success of the Talent Pipeline program and recognize all of you new team members, as well as 3 of my new team members who we'll be announcing shortly. For Precision Profiles, our primary interest in the program was from a retention standpoint. We wanted to challenge the tactics and strategies that we were using, come up with a better way, and improve those statistics. We look forward to applying those best practices and lessons learned from this 2023 cohort to the months and years ahead. I'd like to thank TMG for the guidance that they provided during that period, and I'd like to thank the Navy for your investment in the program. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's be joined on stage by Kyle Schweitzer, Amy Martz, and Jason Cole.
Thank you.
Great. Next up, we have Parker Hannafin, represented by President Dana Williams.
So I'm not the president of Parker Hannafin. I am a plant manager at Parker Hannafin. Parker Hannafin is huge, 60,000 people worldwide. I'm a plant manager in Union City, Pennsylvania, a little bit less than 3,000 people. And we've had a plant there for about 70 years. In the last year and a half, we've grown by 45% and turned over our population by about 45%, right? So hiring and retention is huge for us especially in a small town. This program has really helped us. We've been able to hire over 90 people this past year and a half, and we do supply some parts for the Navy, and we also supply parts for mine safety appliance, which go on fire safety breathing apparatuses here locally, and they also go to the Navy. But we're really excited about this program, and I really appreciate my human resource manager, Rachel's participation in it. And I'm excited that you guys are going to see one of the best dressed machinist trainees here today. But thank you very much.
Great. Now, please join us on stage, Bo Barber and Tristan Hull. And as I understand it, originally Parker Hannafin was planning to hire 5 people and has actually hired 27. So congratulations to that team. Our next employer I'd like to bring to the stage is O'Neill Manufacturing, represented by Gus Casita.
Good evening. Thank you. Very excited and very honored to be part of this initiative. I'd like to thank Joe, Vince. O'Neill Manufacturing is a large contract manufacturer. Okay, so we're owned by O'Neill Industries, which is the oldest privately owned steel company in North America. So we celebrated our 100-year anniversary 2 years ago. So little history about O'Neill. During World War II, we shut 2 of our facilities down and worked for the government, and we were one of the U.S.'s biggest manufacturer of naval ordnance, World War II. So from Pittsburgh, the facility started here in 1993. We started as a structural fabricator and a steel distributor, but quickly we understood the opportunity for contract manufacturing. So our business grew from 17 people to about 100 people, and I was one of the 17. So in February, March, wasn't sure when it was, Dawn Vizana, our HRBP, she said, hey, I want you to meet this guy, his name's Vince, and they're doing some recruiting and some retention kind of with the Navy. I'm like, great. I said, we don't do Navy work, Dawn. I said, we're a contract manufacturer. She goes, well, let's see what they say. So Vince comes in, I meet Vince, and the thing that intrigued me about the program was how much emphasis it went on employee retention. Because nobody really can actually tag the cost of high turnover to your business. The training, the retraining, the lost production, the morale, the loss of morale. You know, if you're trying to train your relief, you know, the guy that's going to go on second shift so you can go to first shift, and you know he's probably not going to make it, becomes a very demoralizing situation. So very intrigued by that. So I talked to Vince. I said, we don't make Navy, we don't do a lot of government work. He said, what do you mean? I said, we don't have a lot of government contracts. He goes, are you kidding me? You support every major equipment manufacturer that hauls or supplies all the parts used by the Navy. So we kind of fit in that tier 2 classification. So if you're using a forklift, an overhead crane, any type of automation system, roller tables, conveyor systems, I guarantee you Pittsburgh O'Neill Manufacturing Services are making parts to support that initiative. So again, I'd like to thank everybody for the opportunity, and we're excited to grow in this initiative. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Now let's welcome Alexa Opal to the stage. And as our final employer, this is a company that originally had planned to hire 16 people and had hired 21. So congratulations again. I do believe that we have covered all the employers. Have I forgotten anybody? No. Great. So I'll wrap up by saying, Admiral, thank you so much for picking Pittsburgh for this project. We look out at the river. At one point in time, Pittsburgh was actually the largest inland shipbuilding site in the United States. Draveau Corporation, located just a few miles up the river, laid 6,000 hulls, and including manufactured all of the LST-class vessels that helped us take the beaches of Normandy. So Pittsburgh is certainly in the Navy's DNA, and we're super proud that all of you will be in the DNA of the Columbia-class submarines as they serve the country in the next decades. So thank you, and I'll turn it back over to Joe.
Thanks, my co-master of ceremonies. Way to go, Brian. Well, what a day. Thanks again for everybody being here. Thanks for the support. Thanks for believing. I get this a special honor for me because I've been empowered by Admiral Scott Papano to declare that everyone that participated in our team, the employers, training providers, facilitators, from this day forward will be known as plank owners for the Pittsburgh Talent Pipeline Program by order of Admiral Scott Papano. But we know we've just begun. You know, as everybody talked about, it's not how many you hire, it's how many you keep. We also know that we recognize that that's the sole responsibility of the employer to make your decision to join their company to be the right one. And that keeps you coming back. So I couldn't thank all the presenters enough for being here to represent what this program's about. And we continue to grow the program next year. And we look forward to being back here a year from now to look at the progress we've made to make a difference for our country. So without any further ado, I'd like you all to rise for the playing of the Navy song and the departure of the official party.
Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. It was a really wonderful event. On behalf of the team that I have the privilege of leading every day, thank you so much for all the employers, our facilitator partners, and our training providers to get us to this place today. Got an alibi. Boss always gets an alibi.
Please be seated. Please be seated. Man, I was so close. I was so close. You know, we at Team G, we like to think of perfect. So when the leader throws himself on his saber here, we would not be here today without Command Master Chief Josh Sturgill. From the very beginning, he's been our hugest advocate for the program. I can't tell how many times that somebody will have a beer and say, "Hey, Josh, come and see my company." Well, a week later, Josh Sturgill still shows up. Or they'll see Scott Papano and he'll show up, and it's the magic of watching them talk to the people on the floor. So I'm a deeply apologetic, but I am extremely proud to introduce the newest Command Master Chief, all of Naval Sea Systems Command. So this is his, I won't say his last showing.
That's up to her, not
Command Master Chief Josh Sturgill.
And Joe knows it's coming. I can't tell you how giddy I am that Joe made a mistake. So something that Joe hasn't mentioned is his career of service in the U.S. Army. He's a West Point grad. He had Coach K as he played basketball for West Point. I believe it was like in the 70s. I don't know what century, but in the 70s. But Joe and I go back and forth on the superiority of the Navy over the lesser entity, the Army, all the time. So when the opportunity pops up to demonstrate that, I love it. So thank you, Joe. It was beautiful. But so as the closer, and we gave you a little taste of what is to come after I stop speaking, but as the closer, I want to summarize so many of the things that were spoken about tonight, but in a shortened fashion. So we'll start with that threat of China. And we used to kind of like skirt around the issue of what our threats were as a country. But some years back, we decided that's silly and it's folly to not talk about what is that existential threat. And it goes beyond China. We heard China and Russia. It includes Iran and North Korea, but China really is that pacing threat. And I'll give a quick example, something that you can talk around the dinner table with to really understand that threat. So we'll talk LCS, littoral combat ships in our Navy. We looked at about 30 years ago, hey, we need something to go really fast, get in really close to land, and wreak havoc on the enemy. And we want it lightweight, we want it to be efficient. How quickly can we manufacture something like that? So we sent that out to the industrial base and said, hey, what do you got? And they said, hey, we can do that in 10 months. We can give you a ship in 10 months. We was like, hot damn, we want that. Let's do that. So what do you think it took us to build that what should have taken 10 months? How long? Oh, you didn't know it was going to be interactive. I'll wait. How long? 10 years? Whoa, that would be bad. So 3.5 to 4 years was our average, depending upon the type, because we had two different types, 3.5 to 4 years. So now let's go look at China. So first off, I've got 7 shipyards, effectively, that are building my naval ships. How many do you think China has? I got 75. 75 shipyards, right? So I've got a couple of shipyards that can house an aircraft carrier, dry docks that can house an aircraft carrier. They've got 52. So I can take my entire submarine industrial base footprint inside my industrial yards, my shipyards, and I can fit them with room to spare inside one of their shipyards. It's a beast, right? So now let's look at what they're doing with their shipbuilding. So they've got this small, it's a Corvette class, it's comparable in size to our LCS. And how often do you think they pop one off the assembly line? Interactive. I heard 9 months. Any other guesses? 6 months. Somebody said 1 month. Somebody said, so 6 weeks, every 6 weeks, rolling a new one. That's their capability. That's their capacity. But they got nearly 1.4 billion people. So it's about 10 times the pace, 10 times the abilities in so many areas. But what they can't touch, and we know this, what they can't touch is the quality demand that we have and that we consistently achieve throughout our manufacturing base. It was our manufacturing base that won World War II. And I'm an avid reader, so Freedom's Forge, check that book out. It'll empower you, it'll give you so much energy and juice, and then I'll ruin it and understand that Admiral Papano already said it. We're not that manufacturing country anymore, but the quality hasn't changed. And we demand the highest quality. I've spent my career operating submarines. I have had the opportunity to visit close to 50 different countries. And oftentimes, I say often, we try to always visit allied countries for our safety. And I visited countries that are no longer allies, so got that opportunity out of the way before they started saying how they smell sulfur when Americans walk in, but we won't go there. But I got to witness across multiple countries the power that America brings and the power of freedom and democracy that other countries are really, really striving for. In China, that is what they're threatening. So that threat is very real. And regardless of political leanings or what side of a fence or whatever else that you sit upon, if you can think, if you close your eyes and envision to you what America represents, that is truly what's at stake and why it's so critical that we get after the tonnage production that we need for our submarine force. Because in the submarine force, we know that that's what scares the hell out of our enemy and keeps them up at night. We know that that's the reason that China hasn't invaded Taiwan. We know that's why Russia focuses on a land war when they start to try to bully Ukraine. We know that our next war, if it were to happen, and none of us want that, but if it were, it's going to be on the ocean. It's never been a more critical time in nation's history for submarines and the construction of submarines. And I do care about carriers. Somebody mentioned that we probably don't.
I do. Some kids on Christmas Eve, sugar plums. No, Carriers exploding. It's the coolest target to blow up. So I love Carriers. So I do. I like them. So please don't think that I don't. But what you have the opportunity, and I'm focused on the crowd right here, what you have the opportunity right now is day one, the beginning of a family-sustaining career. And there's not a lot inside America that can make that promise, especially when all we ask of you, show up on time, be in the right state of mind, and learn every day. That's a simple ask. It's a very hard job. It's a simple ask. But if you do that, you will grow. You will grow knowledge, technical skills, ability, and you will rapidly move up a chain in a very rapidly expanding industry. Hold your employers to account. You are going to be the face of your company. Across social media, our number one source of bringing in new employers is employee referrals. So if you're unhappy, that's okay. Advertise that too. Make your employer get better. Be a demanding employee in that regard, but hold your end of that bargain up. Every day is a learning opportunity. Take that opportunity. Every setback is a learning opportunity. Recognize that, learn from it, and move on. We can't afford to not achieve our goals unless you want to learn Mandarin, and I don't. It's a hard language. So, any questions on that? Booyah. So how much do I need? Because this is a small part of a very large piece across the United States. I've got nearly 16,000 companies that build pieces, parts, and tools to construct submarines. And when I say submarine industrial base, it includes our aircraft carriers, all nuclear shipbuilding. Some of the hardest welding and machining quality factors that I have to achieve is across that industry. But I got those 16,000 companies, and in order to achieve 1 Columbia per year, as I reach that pace by the end of this decade, 2 Virginia classes per year, and many of you are tracking our trilateral partnership with the United Kingdom and Australia, and to add some production into that to give them conventionally armed nuclear-powered submarines in Australia to, again, scare the hell out of China, because that's really what it's all about. I need to grow that workforce by about 8,000 to 10,000 per year across this country. So I want to say thank you, Pittsburgh, because it may seem small when we talk about the complexity and the sheer size of the problem we're up against, but if I can get this done in every dense pocket of defense industry, I'm going to achieve my goal, and I'm confident I can get there. I am the consummate optimist. Admiral Papano is our even-keeled, and if you read your programs, it says Matt Sermon should be up here talking right now. And if you know Matt Sermon, I'm like a spitting image of the guy. If you don't, Google him so you'll get that joke. He's the consummate pessimist, and we work really well together to push each other to achieve these goals. So I want to say thank you. I look across and I see Pittsburgh, and oftentimes I'll get up and I'll make fun of the host city. It's easy to do in Philadelphia. If you've been to, I mean, it's awful, right? It's just a bad city. New England, where my kids were raised, it's super easy to make fun of New England. And oftentimes we pick on sports teams. But I come here to Pittsburgh, and I can't. We talk about backbone of blue collar, backbone of workforce and of industry. This is it. This really is it. Everything that we need in this country to ensure our place as number one, to ensure freedom and democracy, is represented in this great city. So I want to say thank you, and I look forward to the next year and the years to come in watching this industry grow with its heartbeat right here. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Truly an honor. So please, at this point, please rise for the playing of the Navy song and the departure.